How much what?
How much time passed between point A and point C?
How much
Time.
time? Obviously, I've got to set the closing of these two out in the future, so I've got enough time to buy this, rehab it, get it rented and sold. And yet I can't make it contingent upon this. So I've got a plan B to come up with $150,000 to put down on this one if this doesn't close in time. But the fact of the matter is these were set out 4 months at a convenience for the sellers, which gave me enough time to buy this one, clean it up, sell it, and on the closing day of the resale of this, which happened at 9 o'clock in the morning, recording at 10:30, this one closed and recorded at 11:30, this one closed and recorded at 1:30, all on the same day. Because I can't leverage this one until I own it with this $250,000. So the order of service was very scripted, very, very scripted. Now, this is like what we call the three-bird scenario. I've gone into escrow before with a set of plans, what it looks like a set of plans under my arm, but really it's a roll of butcher paper that's 40 feet long. And I go into Jeannie's office and I start taping it across the walls all the way around the office. And I've done 9 of them in the same day before, all represented by different color Sharpies, right? So you start with all the addresses in the Sharpie and then you start showing where everything goes, and how it all plays out. It's like 4-dimensional chess. And this doesn't happen day one, but we've done some pretty damn complicated ones, right? I mean, it grows on you. You start realizing that everything has moving parts because you've created it that way. And all we're trying to do is create garages for money. So there's an example of the kind of things that we need to know how to do. Okay? Very quickly.
Excuse me, Barry?
Yes.
They're kicking us out.
Are they kicking us
Yeah,
out?
9:30.
Like right now?
No, 9:30.
I'm sorry?
Which is 9:15.
Oh, 9:30. Perfect. Thanks. These statistics scare me, but they're true. 75% of our country, household income is less than $75,000. Gross, by the way, which means they take home less than 50. They take home less than 50 grand. 75% of the households in our country. You know what? My kid's school costs more than 50 grand a year. Whole Foods bills more than 50 grand a year. You know, I could take one line item and say that's more than 50 grand a year. I could take a lot of line items in my life and say it's more than 50 grand a year, just my family. So it bothers me because I don't know how my medical insurance is more than 50 grand a year. I don't know how you can live healthy and responsible lives on that, so it bothers me, okay? When we start talking about even reasonable income, like if you look at 200,000, which means you're bringing home about 140, right? At that level, 3.2 or 4.2% of this country fall into that category, 4.2. And that's, to me, that's like with family income. How do you still do it at that? I wouldn't know, but I think you could figure it out, but it sure doesn't sound like abundance to me. And there's less than 4% pulling it off. When you get into any kind of what I call reasonable money, 300,000, now we're at 1% of the country that grosses that much. And if you talk $1 million, you're in like fractions of 1%. That bothers me. But it also begs a question. It's stacked so skewed. A small percentage have it, and a huge percentage don't. What is the difference between the haves and have-nots? And I don't think there's one thing, there's a lot of things.